I feel like everywhere you look in the financial world, there are articles and blog posts and tweets and YouTube videos telling you about the next great company to invest in. Some of these are great, some of these are awful, and some are just meh. However, there are experts out there who really should know what they're talking about. And at the start of 2025, I read an article titled 10 Stocks Experts Think Will Make Them Rich This Year. So today, I'll be aiming to go through all 10 stocks in under 10 minutes, explaining what the company does, why the expert picked them, and I'll be rating each one as a stock pick for 2025 and beyond, because your time horizon should be longer than 12 months. Anyway, let's get into it. Our first two picks are from Rob Bergman, an investment manager at wealth management firm RBC Brewin Dolphins. So first up, we have global software and cloud computing giant Microsoft, the mega company behind the Windows operating system, Microsoft Office, Xbox, and its cloud computing business Azure. In fact, Azure is now the second largest cloud computing provider in the world, and the company's partnership with OpenAI has put Microsoft front and center of the artificial intelligence boom. Bergman thinks Microsoft will succeed as more businesses move their IT operations from traditional on-premise services to cloud computing services like Azure, combined with Microsoft's suite of products being a one-stop shop for companies looking for enterprise software. And he thinks Microsoft has done a great job of bundling their apps together and improving the way that applications interact and work with one another. Plus, Microsoft's AI-powered Office Productivity Assistant Copilot was one of the first actual use cases of AI that I can remember. Honestly, I can't argue with this pick. Microsoft under CEO Satya Nadella has been phenomenal for the past decade, and it remains a leader in a number of fast-growing and important industries. It's simply one of the best businesses around, so I'll be rating this pick a 9 out of 10. His next pick was another huge name in the US tech sector, although it's still more than 4 times smaller than Microsoft, and that is Visa, the global leader in digital payments, facilitating transactions between consumers, businesses, and banks. Any cards with the Visa logo use the company's huge payment network as part of the payment process, allowing millions of businesses worldwide to accept electronic payment. Bergman points out that Visa is actually the largest payment network in the world and continues to strengthen its industry leadership in the fast-growing and ever-changing environment of digital payments. Despite huge competition from MasterCard, Visa is also a beneficiary of inflation, since the company actually takes a percentage fee of every transaction. I agree that Visa is one of those companies that looks so well positioned. It's the dominant player in its industry should continue to grow over time, the breadth of its payment network is unmatched, and the company continues to innovate and build out its existing competitive advantages. Honestly, another brilliant company, and I'll give this pick an 8 out of 10, because I just like Microsoft a little bit more. Our next expert is Matt Britsman, lead equity analyst at investment platform Hargreaves Lansdown, who has opted for some less obvious picks, which I respect. First up, we have the London Stock Exchange Group, also known as LSEG. While most people think of the London Stock Exchange as an exchange for buying and selling shares, which LSEG does own and manage, the company itself has transformed into a financial data and technology giant in recent years. After forking out $27 billion in 2021 to acquire financial data provider Refinitiv. As a result, LSEG actually earns most of its revenue from selling essential financial information and analytics to businesses and investors. Now, I'll be honest, there's not much more that he wrote about LSEG in the article. Britsman says it's a leader in financial data and technology, has diversified income streams, making it more resilient, and has a focus on cloud solutions and automation to support growth, with analysts expecting improvements in profitability. To be honest, I'd need to look into this company a little bit further, but what I've heard, I do like. LSEG operates in a number of industries where it is one of only a few dominant businesses, and the push into data and analytics for the financial industry could help drive the company forward over the next decade. So it is a preliminary thumbs up from me, and I'd give this pick a 7 out of 10. At this rate, I'll be giving the final pick a -1 out of 10. Anyway, on to the next pick from Britsman. He's gone for Airbus, one of the world's largest aerospace companies. It's mostly known for producing commercial aeroplanes, as well as military aircraft, satellites, and space technology. Britsman is optimistic due to Airbus's main competitor, Boeing, having well-documented documented struggles recently. Plus, Airbus currently has a record order backlog, but supply chain issues are expected to slow production into 2026. And the company can't just double the number of planes it makes to capitalize on Boeing's struggle, because building factories takes a while, and building planes takes a while, unless you're Boeing, allegedly. Anyway, I think it's a decent shout. Airbus's revenue is expected to grow at over 10% a year for the next few years, and it is in the process of expanding manufacturing across a number of regions. But I don't really like the airline industry as a place to invest. So despite the fairly strong investment case, I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10. Oh wow, each company really is just scoring one less than the one before it. Ben Barringer is our next expert, a technology analyst at wealth management firm Quilter Cheviot, or Cheviot, I have no idea. I'm not posh enough to know how it's pronounced. So you won't be surprised by his two tech-focused picks. First up, it's the global leader in streaming television, ITVX. Sorry, I mean Netflix. This company revolutionized entertainment with its streaming service, offering movies and TV shows directly to consumers over the internet. Over the past decade, it has expanded globally, producing its own award-winning content, and it's recently introduced an ad-supported subscription tier, which Barringer has been particularly impressed by, because the ad-supported tier now brings in more revenue than Netflix's traditional model. Plus, Netflix's size now means the company can grow its content spend at a slower rate than its growing revenue, meaning investors can expect profits to accelerate. Plus, the password sharing crackdown gave a big boost to the number of paid subscribers. All in all, this looks like a very strong investment case. Shares of Netflix might have soared recently, but earnings are still expected to grow pretty quickly over the next few years. Now, whilst I wouldn't say shares are cheap, they certainly don't look expensive for such a high quality business. So I'll happily give this pick an 8 out of 10. Barringer's second pick is another US big tech name, Meta, the parent company of Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, and more. It makes money primarily from digital advertising, using data-driven targeting to connect brands with billions of users across the social media landscape. Barringer thinks Meta has done a phenomenal job of addressing its problems in recent years, including privacy changes from Apple, competition from TikTok, and a slowdown in usage. And its ability to recover from all of these problems has sent shares soaring. He also believes the company is a big winner in artificial intelligence, with Meta utilizing AI in its advertising platform to improve the targeting of adverts. The company has also become way more profitable in recent years. To be honest, I've been really impressed by Meta's turnaround. It's gone from really struggling with Apple's privacy changes and obsessing over a failing metaverse to becoming a company that's churning out cash, finding new ways to monetize its platforms, and become a winner in the AI race with tools that are actually delivering value to both advertisers and users on the platform. So it's a 9 out of 10 for me. Before getting on to the next pick, I just want to mention the platform that I use to invest, Trading 212. If you also want to start your investing journey using the investment platform that I trust with my stocks and shares ISA, you can use promo code SNSBonus to get free fractional shares worth up to £100 when you join Trading 212. Next up, we have two experts for the price of one. Richard Hunter, head of markets, and Keith Bowman, an equity analyst, both from investment platform Interactive Investor. We'll start with Hunter's pick, which is the largest company on the London Stock Exchange at the time of recording. He's gone for AstraZeneca, the global pharmaceutical company known for developing life-saving medicines in cancer, respiratory diseases, and immunology. Most of us will recognize the name from the COVID-19 vaccine rollout, with AstraZeneca being one of the first companies to produce a vaccine. The company is also leaning on AI to help accelerate the discovery of new treatments. Now, while cancer treatment drugs represent a third of sales, Hunter points out that AstraZeneca is not a one-trick pony. It's also heavily involved in a number of areas, ranging from kidney issues and cardiovascular disease to more specialized areas such as rare diseases and immunology. Shares have felt some pain recently, falling after government investigations in China included allegations of medical insurance fraud, illegal drug importation, and personal information breaches. Yikes. Now, I'll be the first to admit that pharmaceutical companies almost immediately go into the too complicated bucket for me. Throw in the issues in China, and this is a company that I would personally avoid, so I'll rate it a 5 out of 10. I can't call it a bad company, but it's just not an investment for me. It's back to the US for Keith Bowman's pick, and he's opted for a company in the midst of a turnaround. Disney, the global entertainment giant that owns theme parks, movie studios, and franchises, ESPN, and streaming services like Disney+. The last 5 years have been a roller coaster for Disney, with the pandemic shuttering theme parks and hurting movie production. But it did provide a boost for the launch of its Disney+ streaming service. Longtime CEO Bob Iger also retired in 2020, but had to return at the end of 2022 to try and steady the ship. Bowman remains optimistic about the future for the mouse. He thinks Disney's focus on high-quality content, cost-cutting, and Disney Plus's profitability will help turn the company around. With profits expected to grow at just over 10% per year for the next few years, and a reasonable valuation, there is potential for a turnaround, especially since Disney still owns so many strong brands. So I'll give this one a 7 out of 10. Our final expert is Gary White, the chief investment commentator at investment platform Charles Stanley. His first pick is Croda International, a British specialty chemicals company that creates the ingredients found in everyday products, from skincare and cosmetics to crop care and pharmaceuticals. The company got a huge boost during the pandemic, as one of its ingredients is critical when creating mRNA vaccines for COVID-19. Plus, its customers ordered additional stock in case of supply chain disruption. However, the demand for COVID vaccines has fallen, and customers have been working through those excess inventories, causing Croda's sales to decline and shares to fall by over 70% from their peak. But as Gary White points out, there's far more to Croda than simply its vaccine ingredients, and it's shown itself to be a quality business over the decades. The company has been hit by a couple of shocks that are outside of its control, but he believes these unusual impacts will start to finally fade away in 2025 and beyond. And I completely agree. I think once Croda gets beyond this weird period, which I think it will in 2025, you're left with a high-quality business whose shares are trading at a really attractive valuation. In fact, after reading this article and digging more into the company, I actually added shares of Croda to my portfolio. So I may be biased, but I will give this recommendation a 9 out of 10. The final stock pick from White is Thermo Fisher Scientific, a company that provides lab equipment, consumables, and scientific services for pharmaceutical and biotech companies, supplying the tools that allow scientists and medical professionals to conduct cutting-edge research and develop new treatments. White believes that growing healthcare spending across growing economies will boost the industry as a whole, and Thermo Fisher will get some of that growing pie. The company also has a high level of recurring sales, which makes revenues far more stable. White says this makes it a more defensive investment, which is a way of saying potentially lower risk and lower reward. And I'm inclined to agree. On the face of it, Thermo Fisher looks like a deeply embedded business in its industry that's not going away anytime soon. It may not be my type of an investment, but I can't argue with it as a solid defensive pick. So I'll give this final choice an 8 out of 10. So there you have it. I hope I managed to stay close to the 10-minute mark while going through these. I probably did end up going a bit over, but I guess I'll only know once I get to editing this video. If you did find this video interesting, be sure to give it a thumbs up so I know whether or not to make more content like this. And if you do want to see more like this, make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.